UFC 313 is coming up, and we have Alex Pereira fighting Magomed Ankaleav. And I'm gonna be honest, this is a scary fight for all Alex Pereira fans or all UFC fans, right? You cannot like Alex Pereira fans, but there's no way that you don't like watching Alex Pereira fights, right? Everyone's a fan of Alex Pereira, just maybe not his fans. Most of us, unless you're just a huge Dagestan fan, are rooting for Pereira, but it's a very dangerous fight for him, man. A very dangerous fight, and I'm here gonna rank who are the guys who can beat Pereira and who can't. I just got a few. I got a few sample sizes here, a few people here to go through. We have the categories: they either destroy Pereira, a close fight, but they're gonna beat Pereira, a 50-50 fight, close fight but Pereira wins, or Pereira dominates them, right? So let's just go ahead and start off with Ankalaev. I've said it before, and I'm going to say it again. I think Pereira wins this fight. If you look at the competition that Ankalaev has faced, I mean, he just hasn't faced anybody who's as dangerous as Alex Pereira. There is nobody as dangerous as Alex Pereira. And sure, Alex Pereira, he hasn't faced anybody with the grappling pedigree of Ankalaev, right? But Alex Pereira is not a slouch on the ground, and you have to understand that, right? And sure, even if Ankalaev does get takedowns, that's not all, man. That's not all it takes. You can't just take him down, control him, because there's going to be times on the feet. What Pereira's really good at doing is making the time standing count. Watch the fight against Jan Blachowicz, right? He gets taken down a lot, but during the standing portions of the fight, he's immediately pressuring, locked in, and going and attacking. But then again, that could kind of play into Ankalaev's game, right? Ankalaev is a counter striker. He wants you to come at him, you to punch him, him to slip, and then he can, hit you with some fast combination. That's what he wants, right? So it's a very dangerous fight for Pereira. I would probably have to put this in a 50-50 fight, man. I think this is and the odds show that too. The odds say that it's a 50-50 fight, and I think it is. But I do favor Alex a little bit just because Ankalaev, sure, he did double leg, Jan Blachowicz, and it was impressive. But at the end of the day, Ankalaev isn't a grappler primarily, right? He strikes a lot, you know. But I will say, and I hate saying this, but it's true, that this fight is Ankalaev's to win. And what I mean by that is if he goes in there with the perfect game plan and is able to execute it, it's up to him to do that. He's probably gonna win, probably, which is sucks to say, but it's true, man. If he just goes in there, shoots takedowns like crazy, just keeps, the crowd can be booing and booing, but he just ignores the boos and keeps, doing the bare minimum to make the ref not separate them. I could see that happening. And Ankalaev, he has some fast, sneaky hands, right? I can also see him having some success with the striking. I don't see him knocking out Pereira, not at all. But I can see him have some success on the feet. It is possible, though. Anything's possible, man. I placed $1,000 on Pereira by submission just because I think it might happen. Okay, but that's for a different video. You can go watch that video if you want. But let's get into the next guy, DDP. This fight has some lore building behind it, right? Because we know that Pereira doesn't like guys who beat Izzy. He wants to be the only one who can beat Izzy. Except he likes Strickland. That's like a little exception. Maybe because he beat Strickland, but he doesn't want anyone to beat Izzy but himself. And he just doesn't really like DDP that much, He was in Strickland's corner for the second DDP fight. And, they just don't really like that each other. They kind of have that beef that's coming up. And I think that this would be a really fun fight. However, I think it's close, but I think Pereira's likely going to win. But maybe not, because let me say this. DDP, what he does so well is game planning for a particular opponent, right? We've seen him approach fights with totally different game plans, like the Robert Whittaker fight, the Strickland first fight, the Strickland second fight. We see how he changes his style. And, he does a really good job at blitzing forward and then shooting goofy takedowns that somehow work. And I could totally see him getting Pereira down because DDP is big, he is strong, and he does have a legitimate chance to be a good wrestling threat to Pereira. I don't think he's going to be much of a striking threat. I mean, I take that back. I think he's going to land some good shots, right? He has a really good blitz forward that I think is going to, that Pereira might have some problems with. But the reason that I think Pereira wins is because DDP kind of reminds me of Yuri Prohaska. They both have that kind of goofy, durable style where they rely on their durability so much. And Pereira is just absolute power. If you're not focusing on defense so much and leaving some shots open, I think Pereira's going to find the shot, especially because he's a middleweight. Yeah, Pereira was a middleweight too, right? This dude, he sleeps like heavyweights, man. He can sleep a middleweight coming up too, trust me. I think Pereira's going to find the shot and knock it out. Even if DDP's having success in the first few rounds, I think Pereira would eventually find that shot, right? That's why I favor him. The next matchup, though, Jon Jones versus Alex Pereira. Wow. Well, Jon Jones should be fighting this guy right here, but, that's a whole different situation, right? But Jon Jones versus Alex Pereira. If you look in the past where Jones has struggled against guys, it's been against guys who have kind of similar reaches and frames to him, which Pereira definitely does. Even though he was a middleweight, Pereira is huge, man. And in the octagon, they would probably be weighing around the exact same weight, most likely. And of course, Jones would have a huge wrestling advantage, right? That is where Jones needs to take the fight. He knows he needs to take the fight there. And Jones definitely has the experience to bring the fight to the ground. He's the best at that, right? So it's really hard to favor Pereira here. But Jones is getting older. He's not in his prime anymore. And I don't think that's crazy to say. I don't think that Jon Jones, he's not the same guy he was, back, 7-something years ago when he was fighting Daniel Cormier or Gustafsson. I just don't think he's the same. If you see him, he's just slow, and he's only getting older. He's just getting slower, right? And this is my prediction now. I might remake this video after seeing the Ankalaev fight, because let's say, theoretically, he can defend every single one of Ankalaev's takedowns, with ease, and then destroys him on the field. Like, if Pereira goes out and has, like, a masterclass performance, I would probably rank some of these differently. But Jon Jones, man, do I put him in destroys Pereira? Because I'm definitely going to be favoring Jon Jones in that matchup, only because of the wrestling. Pereira's weakness, wrestling. Jon Jones' strength, wrestling. It doesn't take a scientist to spell this out, right? So, I want to take it back, because Ankalaev, his strength is wrestling too, but there's obviously a different degree of mastery when we're talking about Ankalaev versus Jon Jones in wrestling. But my point still stands, right? Jon Jones, do I put him in? Can I see a world where Pereira beats him? Maybe. But Jones also has an amazing chin. Amazing chin. We've seen him get hit with some hard shots. Nothing's been able to rock him yet. And if there's a guy who could do it, it would be Alex Pereira, or this guy right here. But I think I have to do this. I think I have to do this. Oh, do I put it in here? I don't know, man. I'm gonna put him in this category just because Jones is getting older, slower. He's taken a lot of damage throughout his career. And if this was prime Jones, I'm definitely gonna pick Jones, but I don't think Jones is the same as he was. I made an entirely different video on that, but whatever. Next guy, Tom Aspinall. I don't even think I have to explain this one. Tom Aspinall is gonna destroy Alex Pereira if they ever fight. Aspinall is heavier, he's younger, he's faster, he is stronger, and he's smart. He's not like some of these other guys that Pereira's fought who choose to strike with him. Aspinall has openly said that within the first 15 seconds of the fight, he's gonna blast a double leg and try to take him down, which that's what you should do against Pereira. You don't want to strike with him, dude. That's like trying to wrestle with Habib, you know? I don't understand these guys who play into Pereira's strengths, like Khalil Roundtree, Jamal Hill, Yuri Prohaska. I get why Izzy did it, because he is a kickboxer too, but these other guys, unexcusable. Unexcusable. You don't go out there and try to submit Habib. You just don't try to submit Habib. That's not what you try to do, okay? And you don't try to strike with Alex Pereira. Aspinall knows this, right? So, I think it's pretty clear. Does Pereira stand a chance? Yeah, he always does. He can always hit that shot. You know, we've seen Aspinall we've seen him get clipped before. But I think it's pretty clear to me Aspinall would win. Next guy. They fought twice, but I put him on here. Yuri Prohaska. And I already kind of said my justification for this, but Yuri Prohaska just has like the wild style where you rely on your durability, and that's just not a super good style against a guy like Alex Pereira, right? You want to be super clean and technical, like an Israel Adesanya, right? And now that I'm saying that, I'm getting a little bit more worried because Ankalaev is clean and technical too. Man, dude. Ugh, I really don't want Ankalaev to win. That would, dude, UFC's worst nightmare. But think about it this way, right? Here's the silver lining. If Ankalaev does win, we're going to get the instant rematch, as we should. And beating Pereira once is possible. Beating him twice is a lot harder. Beating Pereira twice would be very difficult. And so that there's a little bit of hope for us Alex Pereira fans, right? Next guy, Jan Blachowicz. Jan Blachowicz and Pereira fought, and it was a split decision, very close fight. You know, he was able to dominate the grappling, but Pereira essentially dominated the striking. But this version of Jan, I think, in a 5-round, I think Pereira's going to beat him. This version of Jan, I think, is not the same as he once was. Can he still be in there with Pereira? Maybe I should say a closer fight, but Pereira wins. But I'm honestly kind of leaning towards this, even though they fought once and it was close. If it happens again and if it's a 5-rounder, I think Pereira's gonna win because he's also working so hard on improving his wrestling, right? And even if a few years isn't that long in the grand scheme of things, with Pereira being newer to wrestling, he's kind of having like newbie gains where it doesn't take as long for him to improve in one skill, you know? Him trying to improve in his striking would take so much longer than him improving in his wrestling because he's been striking for so long, right? So I think that Alex Pereira has improved his wrestling quite a bit. That's why I'm choosing him over Ankalaev and him over Jan Blachowicz, right? Next guy, Jamal Hill. Next guy, Alexander Rakic. I just put Rakic on here. You know, he lost to Ankalaev, right? I really don't see Rakic being any real threat to Pereira, even if you're like throwing in the takedowns, right? Pereira's just not so easy to take down anymore, right? And I just have to put him on. Pereira dominates them, right? But before I close this off, let's talk a little bit more about Ankalaev versus Pereira, because I'm scared. I'm scared, right? I mean, Ankalaev, he posted like an Instagram picture of him in wrestling shoes, like in a wrestling mat, and it's just scary, man. It is scary because Pereira's prior opponents just haven't gone in there with any smart game plan at all. They've just wanted to strike with him, and if Ankalaev comes in there with a smart game plan, with super wrestling base, you know, zero striking at all, man, I hate to say it, but Pereira's going to submit him in the 4th round because I bet $1,000 on that. So that's what's actually going to happen, actually. So that's actually already happened. Pereira has submitted him in the 4th round, and you know, shocks the world. Pereira submits him. Wow, goes crazy. Yeah. If you agree, you can let me know. I didn't include all the light heavyweight guys just because, I mean, I feel like Pereira beats most of them. I just put some of the interesting guys, but let me know if you agree or disagree. And that's about it, gang.